My name is John MacDonald. I'm a Member of Parliament. Some time ago, I think it's about over a year ago now, we launched the People's Parliament, which is basically opening up this building to enable people to come along and talk about different topics, different issues, bringing together panels of experts, activists, etc., just to share ideas, and often as a result of the sharing of ideas, maybe to take some actions as well.
The United Kingdom is about 60 million acres, and an acre is very, very roughly, depending on how you're measuring it, roughly the size of a football pitch. So our country is about 60 million football pitches. This country can be divided really simply into three. The first bit is urban, houses, bricks and mortar, and that includes factories and offices. And that is less than 10% of the island is covered in bricks and mortar. And I happen to think it's well less than 10%. But the accurate figures are not available from the government agencies who are paid millions to produce accurate figures, and they don't. None of them. You cannot get figures that reconcile as to how much you should be able to call the Environment Agency, and they should be able to tell you 2 million acres are covered by houses, 3 million are covered by factories, 1 million are covered by roads. They will give you none of those figures. And they're paid millions to produce them, and they don't. Anyway, the urban one is the big surprise, because that means that 90% of the country is something else. And about 20%, the figures are approximations, I'm sorry about that, but about 20% of the country is mountains, bogs, moors, roads. But 70% plus is agriculture. 70% of the United Kingdom is fields with cows and things in them. So there are the three key bits. Go to the big bit, the green bit on the map. There's a little bit under 300,000 farms on that patch. And it's about 30 million acres. Now, the number of people who own that is less than 150,000 out of our population of 62 million. So the big concentration of acres and ownership is in the agricultural sector. The big concentration of large numbers of people and very small ownership is in the urban area. So that's how it splits out. One of the things I wanted to suggest is people tend to believe what they're told rather than what they see. The most overpopulated part of the United Kingdom is supposed to be around here. No, outside the city, but not. But, Surrey. Everybody's living on top of each other. Well, if you catch a train from Gatwick to Heathrow, you will hardly see a town. The train passes predominantly through fields with cows in them, little woods, commons, and all sorts of things. We have been sold the idea that we're, crowded and there's no room and so on. And curiously, the people who sell us that idea are the people who own the green patch.
But the other thing is, with land, you can't, I don't think, talk about it without thinking about money at the same time, and the money system and the way the money's used, because it's kind of as you're deprived of your land, you become more dependent on the money system. And it's interesting how the English Civil War, which I'm going to talk about in a minute, it was after the English Civil War that the Bank of England was incorporated, and that the money system really started to take a hold of us, because before that, land was a free gift to mankind, and it was seen like that generally amongst the public. This is a free gift for everybody, and we've got to share it. Anybody that decides that they're going to exclude people from it is wrong. Now, the diggers in the English Civil War talked about it as a common treasury for all, but basically the same thing. So if you start privatising land, if you start saying I own it, and that's what this title of this meeting is about today, who owns the land, originally it was the divine right of kings. So the king and the feudal system held the land in God's name for us. But this is a crucial thing to understanding, and many cultures around the world still, particularly, for example, the Brazilian Landers movement, the MST, understand this very well. This is something that is not like a car or a wheel or something you produce yourself. This is something which we have to hold in trust. So that's the key thing, I think, in understanding anything to do with land rights and ownership is we don't own land. Land is not property like anything else. We have to share it if we're going to survive as a species, which, looking at the situation now, God knows whether we will or not.
Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar.